Right now in News 12 Connecticut, we are in storm coverage today. Snow ice temperatures expected to drop rapidly this afternoon. Flooding also could be a problem in those coastal areas. We have team coverage this morning, bringing you the latest across western Connecticut, and meteorologist John Isgro in to break it all down. Happy Sunday morning, and thanks so much for joining us right here on News 12 Connecticut. I'm Megan Dice. Let's take a look outside at our community camera in New Canaan right now. News 12 tracking today's storm. We have team coverage this morning. Alexa Farrell on the go for us. Meteorologist John Isgro tracking it all in our weather center. First, we want to send it over to John. Take it away.
Well, we've got some rain continuing to fall in many areas and a wintry mix just about everywhere else. We're not dealing with much in the way of snowfall right now, Megan, but anywhere you go out there, you are dealing with some messy weather for sure, as it continues to be, stay in the middle of the storm. We've got maybe several more hours of a bit of a mix of wintry precipitation for many of us. We're going along the southern-facing coastline here. We're dealing with generally rainfall, even into portions of central. We're going to be getting into northern Fairfield County as well. New Haven County is kind of split here along the I-95 corridor. Further south of that, rain. Above that, bit of a mix. It's falling relatively light. That's good news. Same here for Litchfield County as well. If we take a look a little bit closer into areas, you can see temperatures are right just about the freezing mark, or maybe a degree or two above. So we're dealing with, again, rain here. Further north you go, still seeing temperatures below freezing. So yeah, still dealing with that wintry mix. Now, why isn't any of this where we see the areas below freezing falling as snow? Well, because in the upper levels of the atmosphere, temperatures are actually quite warm. So that snow begins to fall, it melts in the layer above the ground, and as it gets closer to the ground with those freezing temperatures, it refreezes as ice, and in some areas as freezing rain, which is of course a little bit even more dangerous, as it freezes when right on contact and just creates icy, slippery conditions. You can see the temperature gradient here, just below or above freezing here, just below freezing. Further to the north, Litchfield County, we're still in the 20s in many areas here. So anything you're seeing fall as that wintry mix of snow and sleet. And in some areas here in western Litchfield, we're dry for the moment. Not done with it yet, though. We still are under a winter weather advisory for all of Litchfield County, for northern Fairfield and northern New Haven as well, and it's really for the icing conditions that we're most concerned about. Not much, again, in the way of snow accumulation to deal with the rest of today. It's going to be that ice, and then on the backside of this system, also dealing with very cold conditions, which could create some flash freezing for any wet spots out there as well. Coastal flood advisory is still in effect for southern portions of Fairfield and New Haven as well, as we can see the potential for some flooding during high tide later this morning and early afternoon. So again, not much in the way of snowfall. We could get a few snow showers later this afternoon. They may give us a tenth of an inch, maybe a couple tenths of an inch coating for some areas, but the ice, that's where we see the real risk, as again, a tenth of an inch of ice could be quite dangerous. So keep an eye out for that. If you have to be outside, that's definitely something you definitely want to watch for. And beyond that, it's a good day to be inside, Megan. More to come in just a little bit.
Oh, you got that right. Thanks so much, John. The Connecticut State Police saying a winter weather advisory still in effect throughout our state. Governor Ned Lamont holding a winter storm briefing at 10:30 this morning from the State Emergency Operations Center, just a little bit less than a half an hour away in Hartford. We're going to be taking him live right here on News 12, so stick with us for the latest on today's storm. Well, our team is on the go this morning in Litchfield. And News 12 Connecticut's Alexa Farrell has more from the road. Hey, Alexa.
Hi, Megan. We're joining you from South Main Street in Torrington. We are right by the Warner Theater here. We are on a main road right now, and what we're noticing as we travel through Litchfield County is that the main roads aren't that bad. The side roads, they are seeing some more snow and slush and rain on them, but they are doing a good job right now of clearing off the main road. So let's give you a look at the road here. As you can see, there is still some snow up here. There is still, which is creating some slush on the roadways. Cars are kicking it up as they drive through. But yeah, we are noticing that these roads are much more clear than the side roads are. So if you are traveling this morning and you have to take a side road to get where you are going, just be cautious of that. Keep that in the back of your mind. But you will find a lot better conditions on the main roadways. Again, we're right, the Warner Theater trademark right here in Torrington is right in front of us. And this is probably a busier part of town People are starting to wake up on their Sunday morning. They're starting to join everyone. And as you can see, there are many cars on the road. People aren't staying indoors. Maybe some are, but there are many people out on the roadways with us this morning, and they seem to be traveling without many problems, with much ease as they travel through Torrington and through Litchfield County. So keep in mind, side roads, you are going to see some more problems, but the main roads are typically more clear. Our car is sliding a little bit, it's losing a little bit of traction here and there, but again, we're able to make it through. We are traveling through, and we'll continue to bring you the latest as we travel through Litchfield County. I'll send it back to you in the studio, Megan, in Torrington. Alexa Farrell, News 12 Connecticut.
All right, Alexa, be careful out there. All right, we want to send it over to First Selectman Michael Tetro, who joins us now from Fairfield. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Megan, and thanks for calling in.
Of course. We want to check in because you're seeing a lot of slushy roadways out there right now. Tell us what you'd like people to know in your area.
Well, that's what you've got. We've got a lot of slush on the roads. It's made it difficult for DPW, our Public Works group, to really do much. With all the rain, we couldn't pre-treat the roads because the rain would just wash it away. So we do have our Public Works guys out doing two things. One, they're cleaning the sidewalks out of railroad stations and on around our town buildings. But we also are sitting here monitoring this because what we're worried about is the flash freezing later today. And when it turns to ice, we'll get out there and put down salt where we can, but what we're worried about is the temps will be so cold, the salt won't work. It doesn't work much below about 20 degrees. So that's a problem throughout. And so our best advice to people is please stay home, and please be super careful when you get up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. I was talking to one of our meteorologists about this, that at a certain point the salt just doesn't work. So we are going to hit those temperatures starting this afternoon. So stay home. That is the best advice for people there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and please be careful.
Okay, stay home and stay safe. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. All right, towns in our area experiencing some high power outages, getting reports of 840 outages in Monroe, 734 outages in Newtown, 169 in Bridgewater, 405 in Ridgefield. Also getting reports from Southbury with 120 outages, 27 in Woodbridge. Officials warning the icy conditions could bring down wires. We're going to keep you posted on the very latest throughout the day. You also want to download that News 12 app on your phone right now, just in case you lose power, so you can stay connected with us. All right, Connecticut Division of Emergency Management reminding folks those shelters are open throughout the state, the warming shelters, and Torrington will open those warming centers around town during the expected extreme cold conditions starting tomorrow. Joseph House at 116 Water Street open from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. The Community Soup Kitchen on Prospect Street will also be open from 7 in the morning until 1 p.m. And St. Peter's Church Hall on East Main Street opening its doors to the community 3 p.m. through 8:30 p.m. And in Brookfield, officials are preparing for power outages. They say Brookfield High School will be open as an emergency shelter during the storm. And you can get the very latest by checking that town's Facebook page for announcements on the shelter's opening. An emergency management team will be watching the storm very closely and will issue periodic updates as needed. All right, Bridgeport's Mayor Joe Ganim declaring a snow emergency. The order taking effect yesterday. Now, officials reminding folks there's no parking on snow emergency streets. So what does that mean? You should park on the side of the street with addresses that have odd numbers. A list of snow streets can be found on that city's website. And other towns and cities across the state implementing parking bans during the storm. That includes Stratford, Brookfield, Monroe, and Winchester. And the Torrington Police Department issuing a citywide parking ban. This will remain in effect through 6 a.m. Monday morning. No parking on any city streets or municipal parking lot during this time. This will allow city plows to properly maintain the roadways and lots during the storm. And of course, we're going to keep you updated with this weather throughout the day. We'll keep you updated on air, online, and on the News 12 app. Again, you want to download that just in case you lose power on your phone. All right, Bridgeport police say they've arrested a group of ATM bandits who were looting cash machines across Western Connecticut and then dumping them into the Long Island Sound. Officials say an officer spotted the vehicle, wanted a connection with the case on Thursday, pulled the driver over, found the stolen ATMs. They tell us a tip led them to a boat ramp where some of those machines had been dumped. Over to Stratford, where residents continue to show that the Shakespeare Theater may be gone but never forgotten. A vigil for the historic home of performing arts and entertainment was held yesterday and provided hundreds of people with the opportunity to share memories, pay their respects. The day started with a walk from the garden to the theater. Then attendees were invited to grab the megaphone and share some memories.
Everyone has some connection to the theater. There's always something that somebody did, or a show that they went to go see, or something, something great, and it helped the town out tremendously.
Attendees hope the town will help create a new theater in its place. In a press release, the mayor said she will be assembling an advisory committee to get input on what should be done with that space. And local religious leaders celebrating the Martin Luther King holiday weekend by promoting a scholarship for young people. The Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance holding a prayer breakfast in Bridgeport to support a fund for college students. Hundreds turning out for that event at Creative Venue and Rentals on Logan Street. Supporters say there's no better way to celebrate MLK's dream than promoting education. Organizers say the fund helps young people of color achieve their dreams. And that's a good thing that Martin Luther King Day is tomorrow.
Yes, for sure.
Because a lot of schools are closed, businesses, that way people will stay off the roads. We were just talking with the first selectman from Fairfield saying, at some point the salt just doesn't work when the temperatures dip so low.
Yeah, when it gets that cold, Megan, even the salt can't treat the roadways like that. And it also doesn't deal well with freezing rain, which is another potential for, actually right now we have some areas reporting it with freezing rain conditions. So even with treated roadways, with conditions like they are out there right now, and there will be later tonight, it's not enough. So you can't just expect, don't want to expect that just because there's some salt on the road that things are okay. Because then you could very well find yourself in a very dangerous situation. So rain to the south, wintry mix to the north, and coastal flooding. That's what we're dealing with right now through the morning hours. And again, some areas still coming in with reports in both Fairfield and New Haven County of freezing rain falling right now. It's very light, but enough to cause some problems. So do be careful out there. And that rain and mix will taper off as we get into the afternoon into some snow showers. Don't expect an accumulation, but the cold air that's what it's signaling, more colder air pushing in, so that's why we see that flash freezing we were just speaking about, and the bitter cold winds and the dangerous wind chills will stay with us tonight into tomorrow. So definitely bundle up if you have to go out, but if not, a good day today and tomorrow to stay inside. More to come in just a bit. Megan.
All right, John, you're taking a live look at Easton as we head to break. A winter wonderland there, but you definitely want to stay off the roads as we head into the afternoon. Stay with us. You're watching News 12 Connecticut.
No more corruption in politics.
Okay.
They are a staple of this community. I cannot tell you how many of our PTA.
That last live shot, the MLK breakfast thingy, was that yesterday morning or this morning?
You know, the rain, the mix continues to fall out there right now, and some areas getting a bit of a break, but it's only it's a short break. We're not done with any of this precipitation for sure yet. And I know most of us are talking about what's coming, the cold air that's coming our way this afternoon. Yeah, that's going to definitely be an issue to deal with. But before we get there, we still have some freezing rain that's causing problems in many areas, and power outages, of course, being reported. And with the strong winds that we're getting, right now we're getting northeasterly strong winds that are also the potential for some wires, power wires to be snapped and tree limbs to be snapped with those strong winds. And that will continue to be a problem as we get later on to tonight. Winds will shift, but they'll still be rather strong out of the northwest at about 15 to 20 miles per hour with higher gusts. So that could also continue to impact the area later tonight and for tomorrow as well. The rain continues to fall along the southern shore. The wintry mix, again, see that bit of a break there in western Litchfield County right now. We're getting a dry slot through this system, but it's not done yet. We're not done with the precipitation yet. Who's zooming in on Fairfield County? It's mostly rain here, but this area in pink just to the northern section is being reported as freezing rain. So again, any of that hits the ground causes immediate icing out there. So that's a definite thing to keep an eye out for. Here into New Haven County, a little more of the mix there. As we can see that, again, a lot of this falling as freezing rain, some mixing in with some sleet as well. Litchfield, this is a mostly sleet event that you see any of the pinks indicating that. Mix of precipitation coming down, but as the temperatures actually start to warm above, that might also turn over to freezing rain as well. This is the culprit, an area of low pressure just to our north. As we continue to see the system push off north and east, we get colder air filtering behind that. That's how the temperatures fall today. From the 30s as we get into the early afternoon down into the single digits as we get through the overnight. Again, with those strong winds coming in, wind chills anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees below zero. That's what it's going to feel like when you wake up tomorrow morning. So a good day to stay inside. Thankfully, many of us off from work and school don't need to go outside early tomorrow. And even into the afternoon, it's not going to feel much better. You can see temperatures still feeling like they're about 8 to 10 degrees below zero. So it's not going to be a good day to be outside at all. So the good news, or the good piece of advice, is to clear off any snow or slush that you have outside your house right now, because again, with these temperatures as cold as they are going to freeze quite a bit. Here's the 7-day forecast showing that temperature drop. And tomorrow we only get a high of 16 degrees. A little bit warmer on Tuesday. We get into the upper 20s. Much warmer Wednesday and Thursday. This could start off as a bit of a mix on Wednesday, the precipitation, but then it'll change over to all rain, carry on into Thursday where we could see periods of heavy rain, and then turning colder once again as we get into Friday and next weekend. So we're not done with this system yet, Megan. We still have some of the freezing rain to deal with, and of course the cold air that comes in behind that. Definitely those things are what we're going to keep an eye on for the next several hours.
All right, let's take you to Newtown, where News 12 Connecticut's Allie Warshawski is seeing lots of ice on the ground there. Allie, be careful.
Yes, walking has really been our main issue. Roads not too bad. Let's show you what it looks like here at the shopping plaza. Now you can see this car probably have about an inch of snow on it, a little less now that the rain has come in, but take a look at the ice on the tree limbs, on the wires. We have heard tree limbs breaking here, and we do know that there are quite a bit of power outages in the town, around 450, Monroe seeing around 700, and of course, as John mentioned, with the temperatures continuing to get lower, probably going to see a little bit more ice. So right now at this plaza, very quiet. You can see Big Y, not too many people shopping. It looks like a lot of people listen to the warnings to stay off the roads during the storm, which is good. But of course, now our concern becomes tonight and tomorrow with the ice and the slick conditions and those power outages. Of course, we'll keep you updated in Newtown. Allie Warshawski, News 12, Connecticut.
All right, Allie, be careful out there. The Westport Fire Department offering some good advice for those stuck in the storm. They're urging residents to use caution when operating a portable generator during a power outage. With a winter like this, these tips may keep you safe and alive. Listen to this. First, you should operate that generator outdoors only in an area with plenty of ventilation to prevent deadly carbon monoxide. You cannot use those inside. You should never plug the generator into the wall to avoid backfeed. Use a heavy-duty extension cord to connect appliances to the outlets on the generator. Generators pose electrical risks, so you should keep your hands dry before touching it. And last, of course, always keep children and pets away from those generators. And officials in Newtown warning folks about ice accumulation today and into the evening hours. You just saw Allie there. They warn that widespread power outages may happen. Everyone should be safe and stay informed. There are 3 ways to be prepared during the storm. They say you can register code red alerts that are provided by the town so you can receive messages on your cell phone. And in case of an emergency, you can also use the Smart 911 service. It's a profile service, gives more information to 911 in the event of an emergency. You can also subscribe to news and announcements through the First Selectman's office. And for more information, contact the official Newtown website. A local Fairfield eatery celebrating a milestone this weekend. A&S Italian Fine Foods holding a 25th anniversary celebration at their store that's on Black Rock Turnpike. The business thanked customers for continued support as they're looking forward to the next 25 years. State Senator Tony Wong presenting a proclamation to the owners for their culinary expertise, customer service and contribution to the town. All right, let's take a look outside. This is Nora Walk. Stay with us. We're coming right back. You're watching News 12 Connecticut.
Okay.
All right, we want to bring in meteorologist John Isgro for another look at today's storm. And right now, not really the concern. It's the afternoon that we're really concerned about, John.
Well, I think that's going to be the bigger impact, Megan, as we move on into the afternoon, widespread, because areas right now on the southern shore are dealing with rain, and for some areas there, it's not too bad right now. You may see some flooding as we get later on into the afternoon with some coastal flooding. Although some areas, again, in New Haven, Fairfield County, of course, Litchfield County, you could be dealing with some freezing rain right now. It is on the lighter side, but it's enough to cause slick conditions. As you've seen in our reports, our live reports, there's many roadways and streetways are covered with ice right now. So you definitely want to be careful if you have to be outside. But it will we are looking at cold air moving in and causing the potential for icing everywhere as we continue on into the afternoon and on into overnight as well. You can see the system is really isolated here to the northeast and of course off the coastline as well, but behind this is lots of cold air coming in, temperatures down into the single digits for your overnight lows. So we're talking about very bitter cold air that stays with us through the day tomorrow, and that will push in as the system departs later this afternoon. So the temperatures, again, they rise for the next couple of hours, but as we get later into the afternoon, they will drop quite sharply. Could end up with a little bit of light snow here in Litchfield County. Again, still that mixed potential down into New Haven and Fairfield as well. But continuing on through the afternoon, it starts to dry out. But look at these temperatures falling down into the single digits, all the way down into near zero as we get closer to early Monday morning. And I think we'll fall below zero for Litchfield County as you start off Monday morning. A little mix of sun and clouds. Won't be able to be dry, but it'll be bitter cold, and with winds 15 to 20 miles per hour coupled with that, again, our wind chills, well, they feel more like they're about 15 to 20 degrees below zero. You'll see that here on the feels like right on through to the morning hours. Look at the wake up. This is what it feels like when you wake up tomorrow morning, 20 degrees below zero potentially. So it's bitter cold winds and temperatures that we're dealing with, Megan. So that's why we want to keep an eye out for that. More to come. Stay tuned here on News 12 Connecticut.
All right, let's take a look at our community camera in Orange right now as we head to break. Stay with us. You're watching News 12 Connecticut. Right now in News 12 Connecticut, we are in storm coverage right now. Snow, ice, temperatures expected to drop rapidly today. Flooding could also be a problem in coastal areas. We'll have team coverage bringing you the very latest across western Connecticut. Meteorologist John Isgro in to break it all down. Good morning, good Sunday morning, and thanks so much for joining us right here on News 12 Connecticut. I'm Megan Dice. We want to take a look outside at our community camera right now in Wilton. News 12 tracking today's storm. We have team coverage this morning. Alexa Farrell on the go for us. Meteorologist John Isgro tracking it all for us in our weather center. John, let's send it over to you.
Well, we've been dealing with, we had snow overnight, Megan. That's pretty much where we'll see the end of our snow potential for this system, but it's really the ice that we're going to be definitely keeping an eye on. We continue to deal with it right now, and we will definitely be dealing with it later today, as well as colder air filters in behind what's out there right now. Yeah, it feels cold right now. Of course, temperatures are hovering in the mid 30s for many of us, even in 20s in Litchfield County. But as we get later into the nighttime, if you think it's cold now, temperatures dropping down into the near zero. More to come on that in just a bit.
All right. Thanks so much, John. Our team is on the go in Litchfield right now. News 12 Connecticut's Alexa Farrell, more from the road. Actually, it looks like the governor is speaking right now about this winter storm. Let's head there.
Champion with about 7.5 inches. But right now, what we're looking at is the possibility of a 20-degree drop in temperature between now and 6 a.m. Tomorrow morning. And that's going to change the nature of the conditions dramatically, which is why it's still so important that you stay off the roads, because the plows, we have 700 plows that have been going round the clock since last we got together, and they're doing everything they can to clear the roads before the freezing comes, because we don't want that turning into black ice. And I'd say the same to each and every one of you who are able to make sure you do the same on your driveways, because that's going to get very icy by later this afternoon. We have about 11,000 miles of road in this state, so we are on it as best we can. Right now, what we're particularly worried about is with the icy conditions and what that means to the electric grid. And we've been in close consultation with UI and Eversource. Most of the outages are in and around southwest Connecticut, going through Central, the start of the valley. Waterbury and Danbury have some spot outages there, and I've had a chance to reach out to the mayors. New Haven has had a couple of circuits have gone down, and they have over 5,000 homes that are without power at this point. I can tell you that UI is on it. It's a priority, and we're going to take care of that as best we can. Is you got to remember, overall, when you've got wind gusts coming up to 20, 30 miles an hour potentially over the next 12 hours, getting up in those bucket trucks is something you've got to be very careful about. But I can guarantee you it's a priority. The contractors are ready to go, and the staff is ready to go. Overall, across the state, the outage is about 1%. So we've got that as a focus. In terms of what you should be doing right now, if it's an emergency, you dial 911. If you're looking for information in terms of how you should handle things in-house, that's 211. You dial 211. One of the things the group that just briefed me here said is, make sure if you're thinking about your own power and you're thinking about generators, be very careful. Make sure that's not indoors. Make sure that's not a source of potential carbon monoxide poisoning. I will tell you that if you have neighbors who are elderly, if you have neighbors who have a medical condition, reach out to them and see what you can do to help, because we're going to keep a close eye on that. I can tell you that the local operations centers and the electric guys have reached out to them as well by phone call, making sure that they know what response they can have there. I've had a chance to reach out to most of the mayors, and again, I just want to give my shout out to the folks here in this room and the folks in that room back there who have been here, for the last 12 hours, and they're going to be here for the next 24 hours. And if I've learned one thing over the course of this 12 hours that I really want to focus on is how I can get all the information that you need in one place. We've talked about 911, we've talked about 211, we've talked about going to the Eversource outage grid. You can go to the emergency operations centers. You can find out where the warming shelters are. But if we as a state can make sure that we can easily get this in one place for you, text that or get that out in the social media in a more comprehensive way, I think that'll give us a better ability to give you the information you need going forward. So with that, I just want to, again, thank the 700 folks who have been on those plows over the last 12 hours going nonstop, and their work has just begun. Bring them some cookies if you see them. They deserve a special shout out. The folks here in this room who have been doing their work, and we're going to get through this together. We're hardy New Englanders. With that, thank you very much.
Governor Lamont, what is the state's plan going forward as the temperatures continue to drop?
I can tell you that Department of Transportation is doing everything they can to make sure our roads, and especially our major roads, are clear of any snow, any ice, anything wet that will potentially freeze and really cause severe problems over the next 12 hours. So if I said priority number one is to make sure that happens, and like I said, I ask people to do that as much as they can on their driveways and the such as well. And number two, working very closely with the electric utilities, doing what we can to fix those circuits and fix those localized outages. And New Haven obviously is a priority with over 5,000 people without electricity right now.
What was the biggest impact that you saw overnight?
The biggest impact we saw overnight, I think, is the snow was erratic. Like I said, southwest Connecticut up through the valley, up through central Connecticut. And, we were anticipating that. This group is ready to go on that, and I think they handled that really well. But this could be a scary part right now as we think about the freezing, thinking about the wind, and making sure we do everything we can to keep power going and do everything we can to make sure those major roads don't freeze over, because that could be dangerous. Again, that's why we urge everybody to stay at home as best you can. Pretty good football on this afternoon, so stay home. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here.
All right, Governor Ned Lamont in his first big winter storm as governor, speaking right there. He's saying the outages across the state at 1%. If you have an emergency, dial 911, 211 for any questions. Non-emergency, check on your neighbors, the elderly, or those with medical conditions. And 700 folks have been plowing the streets over the past 24 hours. He said, bring them cookies. Good advice there, and stay home. All right, let's get to some other news right now. Connecticut Division of Emergency Management reminding folks that those warming shelters are open throughout the state. You just heard the governor mention that. They will remain open throughout this storm. Now, Torrington will open warming centers around town during the expected extreme cold conditions starting tomorrow. Joseph House at 116 Water Street, operating 7 days a week from 9 p.m. until 6 in the morning. The Community Soup Kitchen on Prospect Street will also open from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. And St. Peter's Church Hall on East Main Street will open its doors to the community 3 p.m. through 8:30 p.m. And over to Brookfield, where officials are preparing for power outages there. You can go to Brookfield High School. They will be open as an emergency shelter throughout the storm. You can get the very latest by checking the town's Facebook page for announcements on the shelter's opening. An emergency management team will be watching the storm very closely and, of course, will issue periodic updates as needed. And over to Bridgeport, where Mayor Joe Ganim declaring a snow emergency for that city. The order taking effect yesterday morning. Now, officials reminding folks there's no parking on snow emergency streets. Residents should park on the side of the street with addresses that are odd numbers. Now, a list of snow streets can be found on that city's website. And our team is on the go, so we want to step back outside right now to Litchfield. News 12 Connecticut's Alexa Farrell with more from the road. How are the conditions now, Alexa?
Megan, the conditions are clearing up. Right now, we're on Goshen Road in Goshen, and we're seeing that the main roads are pretty clear. There's no rain coming down here. The roads are clear. Plow drivers are able to clear up the roads because they aren't getting more snow and rain as the day progresses. We were coming up a side road a few minutes ago, and we were on a hill, and it was a little bit difficult to get through because there was a lot of snow and there was a lot of slush on that side road. So coming up hills, if you can, try to avoid hills, especially if it's on like a side road like I was saying. So as you can see, there is a lot of snow on the yards and the homes around the area in Goshen, but the main roads are clear. See, there's a plow driver passing by us. Right now, that's a lot of what we're seeing. We're not seeing too many people out in the road here in Goshen, but we are seeing a lot of plow drivers. So, they're out there, they're working. We're seeing some neighbors who are clearing out their sidewalks and their driveways as we're passing through towns. So that is really nice to see. So like our governor was just saying, bring cookies, maybe, share some laughs with the neighbor next door. We'll send things back to you in the studio in Goshen. Alexa Farrell, News 12 Connecticut.
All right, Alexa, thanks so much. I want to bring in meteorologist John Isgro, who has been very hard at work today. Something that's really important is at some point You guys are saying the ice melt, it kind of doesn't work
Yeah.
when you get below a certain temperature.
Right.
So important. You got to stay off the roads.
It's roughly around 20 degrees. Once it gets below 20 degrees air temperature, Megan, the ice melt just can't handle that kind of extreme cold. And we're going to be definitely seeing temperatures dropping below that quite quickly as we get into the later afternoon and on into the evening hours. And another thing that the the snow melt has a difficult time dealing with is freezing rain, and we have quite a bit of that out there as well right now. So that's making for very slick travel in many areas. So definitely, I'm sure the local municipalities are keeping on top of it. So do be careful if you're headed out there. Main roadways, I think, are doing pretty well, but it's those side areas, those side streets that they may not have been able to be treated yet, that could be potentially difficult to travel on right now. Many here in Fairfield County, it's mostly a rain event. Just this little section here in the northwestern portion, still dealing with a little bit of that wintry mix. New Haven County, it's a little bit different. Right along the coast, it's all rain, but further inland, still dealing with wintry mix. Again, a lot of this is coming down as freezing rain, with air temperatures at the surface being below freezing, but above the ground, actually air temperatures are well above freezing. So we get that snow falling, melting, and then refreezing as it hits the ground. Same area idea going on here in Litchfield County, with again with temperatures still below freezing. Some areas will see that warmer air coming in as we move over the next couple of hours, and then everyone gets the cold air on the backside of this storm system later this afternoon. Full details on that coming up in just a bit, Megan.
All right, thanks so much, John. You're looking at a live shot of Stamford as we head to break. Stay with us, much more to come right here on News 12 Connecticut.
Well, we're dealing with a storm system that's been bringing us snow first, now rain, a wintry mix, and on the backside of this system, lots of cold air. So we'll definitely be seeing a change for we've been seeing a change already for the last 24 hours, and we'll continue to see a change for the next 12 to 24 hours of a different kind. So we started cold, warmed up a little bit, continue to warm up for the next couple of hours, and then turning cold once again. That's pretty much the pattern that we've been talking about all morning long here. And this is the storm system just off to our north and west, and as it pushes off eastward, it takes all of the moisture with it, and then it replaces it with this very bitter cold Arctic air that comes in as we continue through the afternoon and into the evening hours. Once the temperatures drop, we get into the afternoon, temperatures are in the lower 40s here in New Haven. By 5 p.m. we're into the 30s, and then into the nighttime hours, we're down into the teens, and overnight we'll be seeing temperatures drop near the single digits. And as you wake up tomorrow morning, single digit, that's going to be our air temperature. We won't get a high of tomorrow more than 15 to 16 degrees. So a big change in temperatures as we continue on. But it will be dry. That's the one good news as we look ahead to Monday. But right now we're dealing with rain falling. As we continue through the morning hours, that rain will continue to encroach northward and into southern Litchfield County, seeing more of a change over to rain. And then as we continue on through the afternoon, as that colder air starts to work its way in, we see the numbers dropping again. We go back to a wintry mix, maybe even a little bit in the way of some light snow showers. Not much of accumulation expected, but icing definitely a potential county-wide through over all 3 counties here in western Connecticut. And then moving on through the nighttime, you see those temperatures really plummeting down into the teens, and our wind chills will start to feel more like they're in the 10 to 20 degrees below zero range as we continue through the overnight, because the winds coming behind the system also in the northwest about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So there's the difference. We got into the upper 30s to 40s today for a high, and then the numbers dropping down to single digits as we move into Monday, and then staying in the teens for your highs tomorrow. 28 on Tuesday, so it's dry, it's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit milder, and then Wednesday our next chance of seeing precipitation, but warming up enough to keep this as a mostly all rain event. So once we get through today, Megan, we get a little bit of a break before our next system comes in, but we won't talk about that just yet. We've still got to get through Sunday first.
Yeah, we certainly do. All right. Thanks so much, John. The Westport Fire Department offering some good advice for those stuck in the storm. They're urging residents to use caution when operating a portable generator during a long-term power outage. With a winter weather like this, these tips may help keep you safe and alive. First, operate those generators outdoors only. You cannot operate them inside because of a risk of deadly carbon monoxide. You should never plug the generator into the wall to avoid backfeed, and use a heavy-duty extension cord to connect appliances to the outlets on the generator. Now, generators pose electrical risks as well, so make sure your hands are dry before touching it. And last, of course, always keep those children and the pets away from portable generators. Officials in Newtown warning folks about ice accumulation today and into the evening. They warn that widespread power outages may happen. Everyone should be safe, stay informed. 3 ways to be prepared during the storm, they say. In Newtown, you can register code red alerts. They're provided by the town, so you can receive messages on your phone. And in case of an emergency, you can also use the Smart 911 service. It's a profile service that gives more information to 911 in the event of an emergency. You can also subscribe to news and announcements through the First Selectman's office. For more information on these services, contact the official Newtown website. All right, was your New Year's resolution to lose weight? You're not alone, but how can you make it fun and use some tech at the same time? Here's News 12's Andrew Enger.
For many, with the new year comes the resolution to lose some weight. But making fitness fun is always the challenge. And Fight Camp wants to be the new high-tech fun fitness club in your home.
Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club.
Wait, not that kind of club. Fight Camp.
Let's go. Squat, hold, 1, 2, 1, 2.
We're focused not only on cardio, but also on your whole muscle dynamics.
Fight Camp is a home boxing fitness system that combines online videos with these motion trackers that go inside boxing gloves. The trackers then send your punch information when you hit the heavy bag to an app, and then it displays it live over the videos. That way you can see how you're doing and against others.
That makes the workout interactive. So instead of following just a DVD, it's actually a workout that requires you to hit a certain punch goal.
Now, the folks at Fight Camp say the bag, well, it's integral to the system. However, if you want to shadow box,
it works just as well.
We have users that takes it traveling with them and they just do it on their phones.
Access to Fight Camp videos requires a monthly subscription, and they can be easily watched on an HD TV. And the company says its library of boxing workouts is always growing.
Right now we have 160 workouts available on the app, and we release 4 workouts a week.
So you're not going to get bored?
Absolutely. There's no way you're going to get bored.
I'm Andrew Enger, and that's your download.
All right, Fight Camp trackers start at $400 with monthly memberships at $39. If you want to check it out online, head to news12.com, click on numbers and links. All right, we're taking a look at Milford as we head to break. Much more to come live right here on News 12 Connecticut.
The rain, the sleet, the mix continues to fall around the region, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. Well, we will get better this afternoon and tomorrow morning, especially in terms of precipitation, but it's not going to get any better in terms of temperatures. For sure, we continue to see, again, maybe a little bit of well, we had a little bit of a break there in western Litchfield County, but again, that precipitation has picked up once again. It's on the light side, but it's enough of a mix of sleet and freezing rain to cause potential problems here, and lots of heavier rains now moving into portions of southern Fairfield and even to southern New Haven County. Right along the coastline, you're getting strong rains and strong winds as well, and that's why we have the potential for some coastal flooding as we continue on through the late morning and into the early afternoon. The temperature is getting a little bit warmer. We're into the upper 30s right along the coastline there. Further inland, temperatures around, we're just above freezing. Still some areas just below freezing. And that's why we still see some of that pink mixing in with the wintry mix there. Now, temperatures here in New Haven have started to warm a little bit as well as this system has continued to push north and east. So we can see more of a rain spreading out here. Continue to see the northeastern section of the county still dealing with that wintry mix. Still freezing rain coming down in many areas. Same here in Litchfield County, where temperatures remain few degrees below freezing, so we're dealing all with wintry mix here. And the freezing rain, again, is the biggest potential for problems as you continue through the morning and into the afternoon. The entire Litchfield County and northern New Haven and Fairfield are under a winter storm warning because of the icing potential. A winter weather advisory is off to our west here. And then coastal flood advisory in effect for the southern shores there for both Fairfield and New Haven because of that potential for coastal flooding. Here is the ice potential as we continue on. Litchfield, most of Litchfield County, northern New Haven, northern Fairfield, that ice potential of 1/10 of an inch to 2/10 of an inch could cause major problems on roadways with tree limbs and with, of course, power lines as well. And that is why we want to keep this, you want to keep abreast of all the changes as you move through the day here on News 12 Connecticut. So keep us on and stay inside and stay warm. See you soon.
Right now in News 12 Connecticut, we are in storm coverage right now. Lots of ice and temperatures expected to drop rapidly. Flooding could be a problem in coastal areas as well. We have team coverage bringing you the very latest, and meteorologist John Isgrow in to break it all down. Good Sunday morning. Thanks so much for joining us right here on News 12 Connecticut. I'm Megan Dice. It's a messy Sunday, but we're going to get you through it. Let's take a look outside to Weston right now. Winter wonderland, but you would definitely want to stay off those roads. Meteorologist John Isgrow in to look at your hyperlocal forecast. John.
Yeah, as you saw in that image there, Megan, lots of wet roadways out there right now. Didn't get a ton of snow overnight, so not a lot of snowy covered roadways, but the wet roadways are the potential problem because with the colder air moving in as we get later into the afternoon, those wet roadways turn to ice, and that is the real, I think, potential danger for this storm as it continues through the afternoon. Now, we're also dealing with icy conditions because of freezing rain in many areas as well. Now, a lot of areas along the southern shore, again, still dealing with plain rain, the cold rain, but plain rain is better than the freezing rain, of course, in many areas to the north here, northern Fairfield, New Haven, and of course Litchfield counties as well. Zoom in and we'll take a better look at it. Lots of the greens indicating rain, not too heavy right now. Some pockets of heavy rain pushing through, but most of that is staying offshore there. But further to the north, you can still see the pinks indicating that freezing rain and some sleet mixing in with that as well. As soon as that hits the roadways, it turns to ice, and that becomes very dangerous. Even on treated roadways, it can still be spots of ice out there. So don't fool yourself into thinking, well, there's salt on the road, think I'm going to be okay, because you could still be seeing very slick conditions out there. If you're in New Haven County, pretty much half and half. The rain is starting to work its way into the western areas, but still plenty of that frozen mix falling down right now. In Litchfield, you're pretty much all frozen. Just a little bit of rain mixing in here down in the southern areas. It's near New Milford, so it's a little bit of that warmer air starting to work its way into the region, as maybe we get a change over to all rain for the southern portion of the county as we continue on into the morning and early afternoon. But generally, everywhere in Litchfield County, we're dealing with that frozen mix. So it's a wintry precipitation leads to a winter storm warning throughout the morning and into the afternoon till 6 p.m. this evening for all of Litchfield County, northern New Haven, northern Fairfield counties as well. And a wind chill advisory in effect because of the strong winds that come in later today with the colder air. And this is really because of the icing potential. Nothing in the way of any heavy snowfall for sure to be dealt with. And along the coastline, we still have a flash flood watch and a coastal flood advisory in effect as well. And see, here's the ice potential. Again, it's mostly isolated to northern Fairfield, northern New Haven, and all of Litchfield County, where you could see 1/10 of an inch to 2/10 of an inch of ice falling to the ground, and on top of some wet and maybe slushy roadways already. That creates very dangerous conditions out there. Couple that with ice falling onto the trees and power lines, you get widespread power outages to go along with it. So it's not going to be a very great day, I'm afraid, at all. So as we continue on into the afternoon, that rain and mix tapers to maybe just a few snow showers, but it's the flash freezing with that colder air moving in as temperatures drop 20 degrees in a span of 4 or 5 hours. So things can really turn to ice quickly with conditions like that. And those bitter cold winds actually coming through tonight and into tomorrow means our wind chills feel more like they're 10 to 20 degrees below zero. So really not a great day or night to be outside. If you don't have to, stay inside for sure, stay warm, and keep watching News 12 Connecticut. Megan, back to you.
There, Connecticut Division of Emergency Management reminding folks that those warming shelters are open throughout our state. They will remain open throughout this storm. Now, Torrington will open warming centers around town during the expected extreme cold conditions starting tomorrow. So Joseph House, 116 Water Street, operating 7 days a week, 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. The Community Soup Kitchen on Prospect will open from 7 to 1, and St. Peter's Church Hall on East Main Street will open from 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And in Brookfield, officials preparing for power outages. They say Brookfield High School will be open as an emergency shelter during the storm. You can get the latest by checking that town's Facebook page for announcements on the shelter's opening. An emergency management team will also be watching the storm, they say, very closely and issue updates as needed. All right, let's talk other towns and cities implementing some parking bans during the storm. That includes Stratford, Brookfield, Monroe, and Winchester. And back to Torrington, where the police department there is issuing a citywide parking ban that will remain in effect through 6 a.m. Monday. Now, no parking on any city street or municipal parking lot during this time. That will allow the plows to maintain the roadways. And of course, we're going to keep you updated on this weather all day. We'll keep you updated on air, online, and on the News 12 app, which you're going to want to download in case of a power outage. Now, Bridgeport police say they've arrested a group of ATM bandits who were looting cash machines across western Connecticut and then dumping them into the Long Island Sound. Officials say an officer spotted the vehicle wanted in connection with the case on Thursday and pulled the driver over, found stolen ATMs in the back of the van. They tell us a tip led them to a boat ramp where those machines had been dumped.
Win-win for everybody. This is a group of guys that were doing this throughout not only Bridgeport, but also Trumbull, Fairfield, Stratford, right down the line.
And now police say they have surveillance videos positively identifying the suspects. There they are. All right, 3 people are recovering from non-life-threatening injuries after a car accident and fire. This happened along Route 15 North in Westport around 4:45 yesterday. Investigators say one car crossed the divider, collided with an oncoming car. The collision caused that vehicle to catch fire. All occupants were removed by Good Samaritans. Fire quickly put out. No word on a cause or if any charges are expected. President Trump offering to extend temporary protection for people brought to the U.S. illegally as children in a bid to secure border wall funding. The president promoted his plan from the White House yesterday as a way to break the logjam and provide Congress with a path forward to end the shutdown. That's what he said. Mr. Trump is also offering to extend protections for immigrants who came to the U.S. as a result of war or natural disasters in their home countries. Take a listen.
In recent weeks, we have met with large numbers of Democrat lawmakers to hear their ideas and suggestions. By incorporating the priorities of rank-and-file Democrats in our plan, we hope they will offer their enthusiastic support, and I think many will. This is a common-sense compromise both parties should embrace.
The president says Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will bring the proposal for a vote in the Senate this week. But Democrats who control the House are already saying they'll find the president's offer unacceptable. A local support group for people facing foreclosure is using MLK to build awareness about their cause, the holiday, of course. Crystal Mack of Bridgeport says a disproportionate number of African American and Latino residents lose their homes to foreclosure. Mack says Martin Luther King Day is about promoting equality, and that should include educating minorities about how to save their homes. The retired grandmother says she is facing foreclosure, and she says it's horrifying.
I'm 63, and I've owned my home for over 30 somewhat years. I am a very responsible person. I'm an advocate. I fight and help everybody. And right now I can't. It's like, what am I going to do?
And Max says you can stop repossession and save your home only if you know your rights and stand up for them. We have more information about avoiding foreclosure at news12.com. All right, Stratford residents continue to show that the Shakespeare Theater may be gone but never forgotten. A vigil for the historical home of performing arts and entertainment was held yesterday and provided hundreds of people with the opportunity to share memories, pay their respects. The day started with a walk from the garden to the theater, and then attendees were invited to grab the megaphone, share memories. All right, our team is on the go this morning. News 12 Connecticut's Alexa Farrell has more from the road. Alexa, good to see you.
Hi, Megan. We are currently in Goshen in Litchfield County, and as you can see in front of us, let me give you a look at the road. This is a side road, so this is what our typical side road is looking like. Oh, and there's a plow going by on another side road, so they are trying to clean up as we are going throughout the day. But your side roads are typically covered in snow, covered in, it's raining right now, so covered in some ice and slush, making it difficult to get through. But the main roads are, again, looking pretty good. So as you can see, be careful if you are traveling on a side road. If your home is on a side road and you need to get to a main road to get out today, you will find conditions are worse on the side roads. And we just went by Mohawk State Park, and there was probably 100 people there skiing and enjoying, even though it is raining out, enjoying this snow day with family and friends. We saw some of them like skiing down the mountain, snowboarding down the mountain. So people aren't letting this weather get to them. But if you are going to Mohawk State Park today, you have to take a very windy road, so you will want to be careful if you are taking that road. We were traveling on that road. It was a little bit slippery. We were finding that there were a lot of spots that you kind of lost traction with your tires. So be careful if you are traveling out. That's the latest in Goshen. News 12 Connecticut's Alexa Farrell.
Alexa, be careful out there. You can really see those roads coated up in Goshen where she was. Meteorologist John Isgro joining us. So you've been hard at work. This storm going to bring some icing as we head into the afternoon.
I think that's the biggest thing we need to watch out for continuing on through the rest of the morning and even into the afternoon, Megan. As you can see from some of the images there, from where Alexa is, a lot of the secondary roads are still covered with snow, with slush. And with some of the rain coming down as freezing rain, which means as it impacts the ground, it freezes. And so those areas are getting more than just a wetness on the road. They're getting the wet ice falling down as well, and anything that's wet as we continue on through the day will start to ice up. As you can see here, temperatures, many areas will see temperatures climb above freezing by noontime or just after, but as we continue through the afternoon, the mix may taper off and it starts to dry out, but watch the temperatures really plummet into the teens. So just after 6 o'clock, we're well below freezing, and that's why we see the potential for the flash freezing, and any of those wet roadways become ice covered. That's what you need to definitely take care on as you head out tonight, if you have to go out tonight at all. So more to come on that, and full 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit. Megan.
All right, John, thank you. You're taking a look at Norwalk right now as we head to break. Stay with us. Much more to come right here on News 12 Connecticut. John, how much time? Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. You said it's raining right now? Okay.
Well, we're still dealing with the rain. We're still dealing with the wintry mix. It's still going to be out there for the next several hours as you move through the day today. It will improve as we get into the afternoon in terms of precipitation. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. But, as we've said many times, the cold air behind that, that's the issue. That is the real potential for danger out there if you're going to be outside later today, in terms of on the roadways, of course, and then also in terms of dealing with freezing on tree limbs and power outages and stuff like that. You know, anytime you get the icing potential like we have as we move through our day on Sunday, there is the potential for further problems beyond just travel. So we take a look at the satellite and radar right now. Again, the rain continuing to work its way slightly northward as it's a little bit warmer in many areas here in Fairfield and New Haven counties. Not quite into Litchfield yet. So as we continue on through the afternoon, we will see it start to maybe just get into the southern areas. Most areas of Fairfield, except for maybe the extreme northwestern sections, will see a full changeover to rain and get rid of any of that freezing rain that's falling or sleet that's falling right now. But as we continue through the afternoon, the colder air starts to wrap in so that we go from rain back to that wintry mix. Maybe even a few snow showers start to break out in northern and western Litchfield County. And then as we get later into the afternoon, everyone goes down into the 20s. So no one will be seeing any type of liquid precipitation here. This will be all frozen or snow falling as we continue through the later afternoon. It should be light, but as we get later into the afternoon, around 6 o'clock or so, things will dry out for sure. But watch the temperatures really start to plummet down into the single digits as you get into early Monday morning. You wake up tomorrow morning, many areas seeing temperatures in the near zero and even a couple of below zero here in western and central Litchfield County. And then for Monday afternoon, we don't get much warmer, only getting into the teens for our highs there. So it's going to stay cold for the next 24 to 36 hours. It'll start to warm up as we get into Tuesday, then Wednesday and Thursday, definitely warming up into the 40s with some rain headed in our way for that middle of the week. So more to come on that in just a few minutes. Megan, back to you.
All right, John, thank you. Want to bring in First Selectman Jim Marpy of Westport right now. Jim, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Well, good to talk to you, Megan. How are you today?
I'm doing well. The town of Westport right now, raining, roads are clear. What do you want folks in Westport to know?
Well, actually, we just put out a flood condition warning. It's high tide, and where we usually get the usual flooding, it is flooding, and also some ponding on the roadways. So people who might be out driving and please stay home if you don't have to be out there. But if you're out there driving, avoid the high water that you encounter on the roadways. Otherwise, we have our full highway crew is out right now trying to get rid of the slush on the roads. I was out earlier this morning driving around the town. The roads were generally clear, but there was still slush and again dampness on the roads. The crew will get the slush out of the way and out of the parking lots as well, so that when it does freeze tonight, at least we won't have that problem. And they'll be salting later today as well to try and at least remove some of the ice threat. I know once it gets down below 20 degrees or so, the salt doesn't do us much good, but at least we'll try and get it dried out as well.
Okay, well, be safe out there and make sure, like as you were saying, watch for any flooding on the roads. You don't want to drive through those puddles, especially as those temperatures drop this afternoon. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, and be safe out there.
And I do, just before I go, I just want to remind people that unfortunately the Martin Luther King observance at the Westport Country Playhouse today was canceled on Friday out of an abundance of caution and anticipation of some weather that didn't quite show up. But and being the holiday weekend that it is, we really don't have many events scheduled. So if you can stay inside and stay safe.
Okay, thanks so much, sir. Really appreciate your time this morning. All right, let's head to Newtown right now, where News 12 Connecticut's Ali Warshawski is taking a look at the roads there. Ali.
Yeah, let's take a look at what the conditions are like now. Of course, it is still raining, unfortunately. Roads clear, that's a good thing, but just how long until this all turns into ice is really the main question right now. You can see that tree limbs iced over. We've got power lines iced over as well. And we were speaking to a woman that's working here at this bakery, Tammy, and she says this intersection is one of the most dangerous places to be during a storm, especially when it's slick because, of course, this pole right in the middle of it. So right now, conditions not too bad out on the roads. We've seen a ton of plows go by. It's been relatively quiet out here on Main Street in Newtown. But again, as John's been saying, we are expected to see this all turn into ice, and we're already seeing that already. So if you can stay inside, of course, a good idea to do so. We're also seeing some power outages reported here in Newtown and Monroe. We'll keep you updated on that throughout the day. In Newtown, Ali Warshawski, News 12 Connecticut.
Ali, be careful out there. Let's take a live shot of Westport right now as we head to break. We were just hearing from First Selectman Jim Marpy urging people to stay off the roads. They're experiencing flooding already. Stay with us right here on News 12 Connecticut.